What's up, y'all? Young Acty, back at it again with another video. And today we got some viewers of the channel. Here are some people back again with the famous Alex Valdes. You guys have seen him before. This is Sam Johnson. This is Jason, Kieran. You know what I'm saying? LD God. Just some people from debate. Watch the channel. You know what I'm saying? So. Today we're going to be talking about our first topic is who is the best candidate to take on the problems of today. Okay, so let's go around the circle. Let's just say a name first, and then we'll talk about why, because there's a lot of people. So let's just say a name. Say a name.
Trump.
Yang.
Trump.
And you already know how I'm coming with Yang. But I have to say, I'm going to say / Bernie. For the simple point that I'm thinking that he might win the primary.
He's a communist.
So I'm going to defend Bernie, and I have to be able to get behind him because if he wins the primary, that's what I'm going for. So I just wanted to say that. So let's talk about you. Why do you think Trump is the best person to face the problems of today?
First,
let's outline what the problems of today are.
Okay.
So do that first.
So right now, I guess we can talk about prescription drug prices.
Okay.
We can talk about the jobs. We can talk about jobs. We can talk about employment. We can talk about the economy. We can talk about world affairs, which Yang hasn't brought up in any Democratic debate. He only wants to talk about his UBI plan and automation plan because he really knows nothing about world affairs. He has a plan for he'd be a better vice president than he would be president because he is not somebody who can, talk to a foreign leader and do the things Trump does. And I don't think Yang is best fit. I think Trump's best fit to do so.
Okay, but isn't the trouble with Trump's world affairs is that he's done absolute shit in that regard.
Exactly.
I feel like that.
Really isolationist. So
yeah.
To do that.
Okay, so
but I don't know. I really want to.
Tell me why Yang is the best candidate for today.
So I think that Yang is the best candidate for today because he is talking about the problems of tomorrow, right? He mentioned world affairs, that Yang isn't well versed in that. I don't think that's true, and I think that he's really facing the problems that we're starting to see today. He talks a lot about cybersecurity when it comes to world affairs and upgrading our cybersecurity because that's something that we're in a weak point in, especially when it comes to, if we look at other places like China, even Iran, they have extremely strong cybersecurity, and that we're starting to slow down in our growth and not look forward towards. So, when we're talking about that, I still think Yang has a strong case there. Also with automation, which is going to become a huge problem in the next 5 to 10 years with self-driving trucks already being tested. That's going to just demolish the economy more than immigrants, which is what Trump is scapegoating right now. And all that stuff. When it comes to drug prices, he has promised to tackle that and decriminalize all drugs and legalize marijuana, which is going to offset the opioid crisis because now people have access to alternative drugs that are safer but still get them that high. You understand? So he's really thinking about this in a way that other people aren't. And you mentioned Trump with prescription drugs. I want to ask you something. What has Trump done in his 3 years of presidency? What has Trump done for prescription drugs in his term?
Well, he talked about lowering the prices overall. I don't know about...
But what has he done, though?
Yeah,
because he
really
always talks about that.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that at the State of the Address, and I was like, that's funny. Because you had the opportunity to lower prescription drugs for 3 fucking...
Yeah.
Excuse my language. 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's been nothing done. So I want to ask you, what steps have been taken to lower prescription drug prices?
No, I don't think it's as easy as lowering prescription drug prices. Prescription drugs, and there's a lot of things that go into prescription drugs. A lot what they do is, advertising. They look into biomedical research. prescription drugs are not that easy to lower, and
But the president does have the power to just limit the prices that you can
how would you go about lowering prescription drugs?
you limit the percentage that they're allowed to charge consumers. So like, right now they're charging people like 500% the cost. of
Yeah,
what
and
it
I believe they
takes to
should be
make-
passing.
And
only
you can, as the
100%.
president, set an executive order. You could just limit that to like 120 or 100%, whatever seems where they can still make a profit, but consumers still have where it's still affordable.
And adding on to that, like, we just have to like target big pharma, because if we're not actually targeting them and blocking them from just consistently raising prices, it doesn't get anything, and it consistently hurts the American people.
Right.
Because you see like examples of like insulin and like being at such low rates at like $20 per, like, if you wanted to get just like insulin, but now it's at like levels of $800.
Yeah,
and people are just
exactly.
consistently dying and using smaller doses.
Right,
very
and they're having
so-
to ration, and that's a problem with our healthcare and medical system.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's a problem that Trump hasn't been addressing, and that's one of my big problems with him.
Let's face what he did address, though.
So
That's
let's-
the war
okay,
on
let's-
drugs. That's one of the things he did address, because overall the country has had significant improvements since the 2016 election, because there's been elected officials on the Republican Party who favor Trump and Trump's leanings, and he supported these people who have been advocating
So
for
name
prison
exactly,
reform.
name
prison
exactly,
reform,
name exactly what areas.
like DeSantis in Florida and other Republican politicians.
But they
who have
haven't.
been
But
But
the
they
war on
haven't.
drugs has
They
been a
haven't
complete
legalized
failure.
drugs.
It has
They
been a
haven't
complete
legalized.
failure, and
drugs.
Trump is
No.
slowly
It's not
reforming
legal.
the
It's
prisons.
not legal in Florida.
No.
It's,
Medically.
it's just medically.
Yeah.
Yes, I know
But that's
that, but I'm
way
saying
different.
for people, he's been acquitting these people from jail. You know how he has the power to.
Oh,
take people
that's
out of jail.
great. That's
another-
great. That's great. So we're gonna let 50,000 people come into jail every year for non-violent drug offenses, but I'm gonna let out like 5 or 10, and we'll be all good on that, right?
Yeah, it's
Like, yeah.
Like, come on, let's weigh this.
Yes,
Really.
like when you look at it, Trump doesn't.
Trump is.
hasn't done anything.
That's another thing I'm saying. Like
And
with
it's
the
like-
State of the Union
yeah.
thing that Alex brought up in another video. Like, yeah, of course he's gonna be flashing. He's gonna do these things
Yeah.
in front of the cameras, in front of the nation and
'Cause
stuff.
that's him.
But what is he doing with his actual policy?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's my problem.
And you
with
look at it, and it's like Yang is the best policy here.
Right.
And we have historical
Exactly.
evidence in other countries too. It's like and like I think it was even in Portugal.
But do you agree with
like,
UBI
decriminalized all these
completely?
drugs.
Very
A majority of it, yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
not
There's a
see
lot
any
of-
problems with UBI at all?
Not major
You
problems.
cannot. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, not major.
You
problems.
can't just say that because
What are the
it's never
chances-
been
There's no- what's the-
implemented.
okay.
There's always
What are
a
the
chance
chances
that
of
there's
UBI
some-
even passing through Congress, really?
I think they're very high because once
No one wants a
listen,
VAT
listen,
tax.
Listen, what?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I
No
think
one
the VAT
understands
tax-
a VAT
Yeah, no one
tax.
understands it. I think what would happen is if Yang actually becomes president, he can actually like develop the VAT tax.
Right,
Because they'll better
exactly.
understand it. Because Yang's the
Exactly.
best spoken.
And and I think that Republicans would be a lot more willing to even implement a UBI and a VAT tax
Yeah.
because it's not just discriminating, prohibits like discreetly against billionaires and millionaires and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And also, like, a UBI just actually, like, fixes the problems that we're going to have due to automation.
Right.
Because, like, you see that there's going to be so many blue-collar jobs lost. And while there is going to be a lot of jobs gained from automation, such as, like, data processors, all of this is high-level education.
Right.
So it's like, if you're not going to give these people high levels of education, and right now in the status quo, when you look at means-tested welfare programs, the graduation rates are significantly lower. And when evidence shows that you're going to have higher levels of education from, like, a UBI, and not just that, but higher nutrition and health, it shows that it's actually going to get good things done.
That's so true. True.
And not just that, but, like, if you look at how, like, the suburbs were created just then, you can see how these people, like, the $1,000 a month, it goes straight back into their economies in their
Right.
in their communities, and so it raises the economic status for their own communities.
That's very true. And like going back on the education point, I think that's another thing that like Bernie is looking at because
Yeah, let's,
he's
let's,
talking
okay,
about.
let's address you.
Let's
Bernie.
let's talk about Bernie,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
and y'all can attack me on this a little
Topic,
bit
I'm
because I
happy
wanna
about
be able to defend this man when he wins the primary. But anyway, so when it comes to like education, he's offering free college, so he wants to expand the amount of people that have access to like high levels of education, and it's possible.
Okay, how
And it
are
can
we
be
getting this
done.
money for the free college?
Yeah.
We
How-
already
like,
have
that's-
this
it's
money.
not-
It's as just as simple as reducing the amount of money that we spend on freaking
Is his wealth
the
tax,
military.
Is his wealth tax going? Is that the way he's paying for education or no?
Oh God!
'Cause I
the
don't-
wealth tax.
like,
He
okay, what's
only
yes,
brings
it's
up
partially part
millionaires
of it,
when he
yes.
talks about.
Yeah.
Yes, it's partially part of it, and you have to
Yeah,
you guys
so-
have to like take out Medicare for all as part of that like equation in the wealth tax. The wealth tax is for other things that he wants to implement because Medicare for
But,
all
like,
has its own tax.
Okay, but if the wealth tax has proven that it's not going to work and that it's going to cripple the economy more than
I mean,
it
it's
should-
not that it's not going to work. Like
I
there
mean-
has been money raised. It's just not as much as a value added tax.
but you,
And I
like-
think that like Bernie has also been talking a lot to like Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang, possibly about a VP spot or a spot in the cabinet or something. And I think that if Yang can secure like a high position in the cabinet, he can talk to Bernie about the benefits of a value added tax, and that can eventually be implemented.
I think if Bernie were to adopt a value added tax, I think
How would he look?
He would look 10 times better if he adopted a value added tax.
Everyone on Earth would look 10 times better
Yeah,
if they adopted.
because the
value-added
problem is
tax.
if you have a
I hope
wealth
someone's
tax,
watching this. Value added tax is the freaking move.
Yeah.
Just educate people, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like we already know a wealth tax just isn't gonna work and actually
not
get
gonna
the
work.
things done.
It's
If we have a
just
value
it just
added
sounds
tax,
good.
it's like-
It just sounds good.
Yeah.
So that's something I don't agree with Bernie on, and it sucks because like that's one of my most important issues. Like
Yeah.
taxation is so fucking important. Like people think about Medicare and guns and all that other shit. I'm like, taxes. How are you gonna tax me?
And also
Like
you
that's
see
my
in, like,
most important thing.
Also, you see in the status quo, like without a UBI, and this is another reason why I like Yang. Like you see that there's constant cuts to these welfare programs, just kicking people off, and it's like
Sure.
just completely messing.
Like
them
what
up. 'Cause
Trump
if-
does.
Yeah, Trump's
Trump's
like
kicked
lately.
hundreds of thousands of people off.
Yeah, and he has a plan, like a proposed plan right now to kick 3 million people off automatic enrollment into SNAP.
Wow.
So if you're
Right,
doing
exactly.
that, if you're doing that to these people, obviously there's going to be inherent problems.
Exactly.
And like if you have a UBI in place, it actually increases their nutrition and health.
He
So
does
it's
have
actually-
Trump care though.
What on
That's my
earth?
phone.
Expand
Trump
expand
care.
on what Trump
Trump
care
care.
is. Expand on that.
Bro.
Trump care.
Expand on Trump care.
All right, I will. Come on, Alex.
You're,
I
you're
don't know what
googling
Trump
it right
care
now.
is.
All right, so
But I
on
know
Trump
it
care.
exists.
So Trump care. Are you talking about the 2016 version or the version that he just?
2020 version.
Oh, the 2020 one.
Yeah.
The one that.
No!
he just
I got it.
proposed. So okay.
Alright, it takes 5 minutes or less according to his
Back
website.
at it again.
So
Go.
well, okay, so Trump's consistently making cuts to like the amount of like healthcare that you actually get, not just physical health but also mental health. So you actually see there's like inherent problems. And so right now in the status quo, like loneliness has hit like an all-time high rate, and depression rates are completely soaring. So when you see that we don't have like proper like means of helping people with their mental health, we have problems. So like right now, if you look to like the Midwest, up and around the Kansas area, there's people who have to drive 7 hours to get to a psychiatrist and like a therapist, so they can actually get the help they need underneath Trump's Medicare like systems. And it's that bad because if you're driving 7 hours, obviously you're not going to go that far just to go to like a psychiatrist. Like you're not
to talk to someone.
Yeah, it's like that's driving up the entirety of Florida just to go
That's
see
so-
someone for an hour. You're
yeah,
not gonna
for-
do that shit. Like, and what it does, it drives up the like your rates of depression, and it
Yeah.
drives up like how like worse off you're gonna be, and it makes
Yeah.
you take more sick
Suicide
days.
rates.
Yeah, suicide rates, and like just your mental health in general goes down, and that also attributes to like your performance in work. It goes down, so you make less money, and it just brings people further into poverty. So what
Right.
you see is while Trump's trying to save all this money and just making consistent cuts, in the long term, what you really see is that it just completely hurts our economy.
Right.
So while everyone's like Trump is helping the economy so much right now, you look at it long term, he's fucking it over so badly. It's like it's gonna create so many problems.
That's what I'm saying, but it's not even. Is it even long term now? Because I'm thinking, oh my god, I've been waiting to say this to you guys. 2020, I'm predicting that there's going to be a recession.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
2020, I'll put that on my name right now. I don't know when in 2020. It's not going to be early 2020. I'm thinking like
It's not gonna be in
June.
2020.
It's going to be
Nah,
summer 2020 to late 2020. There is going to be an economic recession. There's a huge bubble in the housing market. Global currency is going crazy. You guys have to, okay, if you guys want me to do a video on global currency, drop a comment, drop a like.
Ray's gonna drop like 5 comments.
Like, for real, bro.
Kieran, what do you think?
Because that's like a whole thing. I can't even
Well,
explain
I
it
have
to
no
you on
idea
this
on that.
video because it would take at least like 10 to 15 minutes. But global currency is so...
What are you passionate?
The value of the US dollar
Nuclear
is
power.
going really, really
Alright,
high. And it's not. It sounds
Kieran
good,
loves
but it's
nuclear
not.
power.
It's
You gotta
not
drop a shout out to
Kieran.
Ray.
Like
Ray in the
yeah.
comments.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Ray. Couldn't be here, but I know he'd love this. Number 1 fan. So, fuck with you, Ray.
Alright, do you want to bring up?
Alright, but you guys have to realize, like, I don't think that a lot of the things that Raney says he's going to do, he's actually going to do, and I don't think that's out of like malintent. I think that's literally just the way that politics is set up right now, and I think that his best bet is definitely getting Medicare for all through, and that's going to be the thing under his presidency, and that's pretty much it. Maybe legalization of
Somebody get him.
drugs of
Get Raney.
Marijuana, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just a lot that goes into it.
Back up?
Now.
Is that
We need
back
to go
up?
Now.
Oh,
Extemporaneous.
Someone has arrived.
Yes.
A
Thank
new
God.
a new
Thank
challenger
God.
has
A new
arrived.
A challenger.
Alright, back at it. We got Mr. Nick Raney
Nicholas
in the
The
building.
extemporaneous god.
Extemporaneous God. He actually broke here at UPenn.
That's right.
Let's clap it up. This is nerd things. This is debate stuff. Y'all won't understand. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Debate stuff.
Anyway, so let's talk about free college. Free college. I was about to say free college. So what exactly are your problems with it? Let's hear from Nick Raney first, the new guest.
No.
New guest.
okay.
Shut up, Alex. We've
So-
talked enough.
Especially for private colleges. Private colleges should not have the government. The government should not be responsible for paying for private college tuition.
Okay, so before you start, like, I just want to clarify. This is for public universities.
Okay, so we're talking about public.
Right.
Okay. So one thing is, where's the funding from? Like, how are we going to fund the paying for all public colleges?
What's going to be from? Yeah,
The 1% of the
From-
1%.
from
So,
the wealth tax.
And the 1% of the 1% pay for this?
Yeah, over 10
Because
years.
you
Yeah.
want.
And we have to keep in mind that we're gonna reduce spending in the military, because Trump expanded our spending in the military by $80 billion, which
Well,
was
because tensions are
unnecessary.
Yeah, 'cause-
rising.
And
No,
we
we
because
do
he's
not
not
need
military.
that.
Okay.
We do not need that.
Say tensions
We
are
do not
rising.
need
Yeah.
that.
Isn't Trump becoming more
He's
isolated?
rising the tension.
He is the one
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Thank
he's
you.
the-
He is the
Yes.
one that's doing that. Thank you, kid.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Like
That's
all
what
the
I've
shit
been
he's
saying.
doing.
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God.
He is the reason.
Yeah, he's the reason we're like
He's the
having to
reason.
spend all this money. If he didn't have this isolationist policies,
We
and he
need the
wasn't rising
Space
these
Force,
tensions-
Sam.
I mean, our
We
the
need the
United
Death
States.
Star.
We need the
The
Space
United
Force.
States
He just
is
expanded the
basically
Space
responsible
Force.
for controlling, protecting the free world. Like
Guys,
honestly,
guys.
it's the United States is responsible for like protecting borders, protecting
And
the
why
places
is
around.
that?
We have
Why
embassies
is
Because
that?
no one
across
else
the
is willing to
world.
put money into it. No one else is putting the same amount of money we are into it. And if we stop putting
That's not
money into
even
it, no one
true.
else will.
China is definitely expanding.
Yeah, they're trying to control.
They're doing a
areas.
lot of expansion.
Their
into
influence
Africa.
will take
You're
over.
saying we aren't in trying to control areas?
No, but they're
Do
trying
you
to
understand
take
the
over
amount
these areas.
of leaders that we have killed in order to
Well,
put
our
our
motives-
own leaders into
Yeah.
Our,
Even-
we have to.
No, I'm
Oh,
trying to
that's-
expand American
That's no
ideals. Like,
excuse.
yeah.
Our motives don't matter.
Well, no, it does.
When we're
because China's motives are
interfering in
purely
those-
economic. They're trying to stop their economy from collapsing. Our motives are trying to protect the Middle East from these terror groups.
Our motives not also economic? So you're telling me?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
not. to the extent
I
China
feel
does.
like that's the cover, right? Like, yeah, okay, it's democratic, but look at the countries that we end up invading. Let's talk about Iran, Iraq. You know what I'm saying? What is over there?
the
Oil.
Yeah.
Oil.
So
Yeah.
what is the real motive behind there? Is it the oil, or is it we
Yeah.
want
Well,
to
at
expand
this
democratic influence?
At this
Especially when we see that like our expansion of trying to force people to be democratic has been working. Hashtag Russia, Cuba, freaking Venezuela. Like you understand? It's not working.
Well,
I got a question for you.
I can answer the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So real quick, we're now exporting more oil than we're importing. So clearly, oil isn't the only reason we're there. It's a factor, but we also have the reason we want to protect the area from terror groups, and we want to help our allies in the region, like Israel.
Okay.
Is it that, or is it because we don't want other?
Do you honestly think we'd still be?
Oh
there
yeah, we
right
also
now?
don't want other influences.
But, okay.
We want our influence to be the most. Yeah.
But if there wasn't
We should
oil, do
promote
you think the
freedom
United
overall.
States would be there right now fighting?
Much less so. Yeah, but we'd still be helping. Like, we still help in other countries. Like we have
Foreign
influence in
aid.
other
We recognize
foreign aid,
this
like
humanitarian
money.
crisis.
Yeah, we have foreign aid in other
Humanitarian
countries that
aid
isn't just the Middle
and
East.
things
Sure,
like
oil
that,
is a
right.
factor for us being there, but we also have other motives.
Okay.
There's a bunch of factors for
You
us.
brought up the fact that we're trying to prevent terrorism in like these Middle East countries, correct?
Yes.
Well, you brought up the fact that you don't want them coming over to like the U.S., right?
Yeah.
However, the United States military bases in the Middle East was a key reason for why Al Qaeda like did the 9/11 bombs because of the. So basically, we're fueling terrorism by trying to protect.
But we're also stopping
That's
terrorism
so
because
true.
if we leave the Middle
You're
East,
not.
what's going to happen? Terror groups are going to take over. If we leave the Middle East, we're a big reason why they're not taking
We
over.
can't pull out completely.
The
Maybe
United
we
States
can.
is one of the main
Then
reasons
why did we
ISIS
pull out from
like
Syria?
is
We
lost.
literally
Yeah.
pulled out from Syria,
Yeah.
allowing
And you
terrorists.
guys loved it.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we pulled out and we left the Kurds on their own, shitting themselves, you guys loved it.
I didn't.
You didn't
You
like
guys
it?
were like,
Did
oh,
you like
no.
it? Did you like
That
it?
would trade a long-term ally.
Yeah.
No, here's the
like-
thing. We stay in the Middle East to make sure that we have control in the region. Make sure that
Look at
the,
Sam. I'm gonna zoom in on it.
I'm like, what the fuck?
But I mean, there is some
like
benefit.
all
no?
of the Trump supporters were so fucking happy about that. And I'm like, what do you?
I'm not a Trump
They
supporter.
loved it. They were like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Don't forget, I'm
Get
for
out of
Yang
war.
as well.
Get out of war.
I mean, yeah, I understand you're for Yang, but like, Yang's just so much better than Trump.
I mean, we're pulling our
He
troops
doesn't
out
talk
and
about
we're
foreign
preventing
policy.
them
No,
from
okay, no,
entering
no.
It's
that.
Yang talks
quiet
about
when
foreign
asked about anything else other than truck drivers, automation.
Okay,
That's
no,
not
no, no,
true.
no.
Yang
Here,
talks
here.
about foreign
Okay,
policy. He's
okay,
not.
let me
He's
tell you
just
about
not
okay.
aggressive.
When Yang was asked what he'd do, like about Trump's like all of the taxes and like all the stuff he has on China, like all the tariffs, like because all of the Dems are like, yeah, we want to just take them all away day one. Yang's the only one who actually says he's gonna look at every single thing we have and like pick and choose which ones we need to have in place.
Exactly.
But
We're not gonna,
Assess
like, all the
which
other
is
Dems
important.
are just like
Dumbs,
completely.
yeah, you're right.
Well,
Yeah,
'cause I was gonna
exactly,
say all the
like-
Dems are dumb. Like, why would you just automatically wipe out all these policies? It's
Right.
Not all of them are bad.
It's a pick and choose.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't like how he's for a carbon tax as well. It's been tried in British
Well, that's
Columbia
something
and
like
it failed.
unrelated.
You
Like,
know,
that's,
he's
we're
for a
talking
carbon
about-
tax.
We're
You're
talking about
the
foreign
support of
influence.
You're
Yang.
talking
You have to
about
support
We're
Yang.
talking about foreign influence, though. You
No,
said
you're
he
talking
doesn't
about
talk
Yang.
about
Okay, you
foreign
can't just
policy.
pick and choose which Yang policies you like. You
Okay,
can like
yeah.
UBI, but if it's
But
rest
so
of the
you're
stuff's
saying
shit,
that if
like-
I don't agree, if you don't agree with every single part,
No,
of
no,
If you
that's
just
not what
like
I'm saying.
UBI, maybe
Yeah.
you shouldn't support Yang.
All right, no, but
That's
I
not
don't
what
just
I'm-
like
that-
UBI.
exactly.
And also, it's like you guys might
That's
have
not
problems.
exactly
Do you have
right.
any problems with Trump or no?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I, hate,
Right.
I don't like
We
Trump.
have-
we
we
have,
problems with
have
Yang.
difficult
Definitely
some
not.
problems.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
But overall, I think that he's a lot better than
Yeah.
every single candidate
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Democratic stage.
No.
He just needs to talk more about his other policies. When he went on the Democratic debate stage, all he mentions is manufacturing, automation, UBI. It's a danger to his
Right.
campaign, and
It's
the odds
so
that he'll,
true.
like,
He's not aggressive. He's
Yeah.
not aggressive, and I think that's because he's not a politician.
It's just his personality.
And he's also not a star. Like, at least Trump was a reality star, so he knows when to be aggressive, when to speak out. Yang doesn't have that kind of experience, so he's a lot more.
But if Yang
reserved
really had
and
like good views in
conservative
foreign
and
policy and all these other things that matter and are relevant today, then he would speak about it as confidently as he speaks about UBI. UBI is his only.
But have you
firm
noticed
policy.
that he doesn't really talk about like
anything else?
He doesn't. He's not aggressive when talking about automation or those type of things either.
He is.
No,
He's
never.
not.
He's never.
He's
it's
not.
just not his
He never
personality.
like raised his hand.
Yeah.
He doesn't maybe
That is
one or
his.
two
That is
times.
his talking
the
point.
past
This is
3
why
debates.
every Yang supporter has been driven to him by UBI.
But he's talked about foreign policy before.
Not on stage.
Yes, he
When
has.
other Democrats
Two
could
debates
attack
ago-
his policies.
2 debates ago, he was talking about the importance of cybersecurity and how we need to
Yeah.
expand
When asked
on
a
that.
direct question, but he can never expand on it about himself because he's not confident in it.
What do you
It's not
mean
that he's not
expand
confident,
on
it's
it?
just-
What are you
like-
talking
like,
about?
it's honestly just
when
his
he asked the
personality when you
question,
look at it.
yeah. What are you
He was
talking
asked the
about?
question directly. He had to answer. And even when he gets asked questions, he shifts it over to manufacturing and UBI.
No, that's not what he did when he was talking about foreign policy.
He did when he was talking about preschool kids.
Because he did, because
Why
that's
do you bring up preschool?
because UBI
That's,
is
that's
because UBI
how he
can
brings
help
up.
preschool kids. You don't have to give kids universal preschool because when you give them UBI, they're able to fund those type of
Yeah.
programs. There
But you
was
look at it-
linkage to that.
Yeah.
That's why he
Because
did
like
that.
I said, with like the thing with the suburbs, that's literally what you see, and you just see better jobs and the better
Right.
like socioeconomic.
And they're
status
able
of
to
the
spend
entire
money
community.
on smart.
Yeah, you get better. Like it increases education because if you're increasing the socioeconomic status of a community, obviously it's going to increase education there, and then just increase like all of the jobs that are going to be made there. So it just like a UBI is honestly the only way to like go through automation successfully.
That's
Because
what I'm
there's
saying.
like in the status quo with Trump, what you see is there's more cuts to SNAP. So if you're cutting SNAP with means tested welfare programs, like you're just losing the education that you're getting. And right now in the status quo, like if you're seeing that these programs are still like not the best because they're not getting the sufficient amount of money to get the food that they need, then you just see there's like there's going to be problems because if these people aren't getting properly educated, they can't go into the workforce.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know any other candidate who's mentioning automation or.
yeah, because like
Yeah, exactly.
all you're looking at is these politicians who are like in their like 60s and 70s who like still like aren't looking towards the future.
They're gonna die before
Yeah.
automation even takes its full grasp.
And you
I'm
look at
sorry
it, like,
that might be harsh,
Yeah.
but it's so true.
yeah, like you look at Yang's like
My
all
uncle
what he's
said the
done
same thing.
previously. You see that he's like he looks to the future.
Yeah,
You
right.
see that he's like the only one who's
Because he's
really
young
looking
too.
young.
So
Yeah, he's young.
He's gonna be
so-
affected by it just as much as we.
Yeah, and then, like you see like at his like rallies, like how he sees it, like cares about his kids. Like
Definitely.
he's looking to the future for his children, like for the children of America.
Exactly.
That's the main thing.
Definitely. Like that's what I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And scene.